I could do a fucking podcast.
Right?
So I started just slowly adding things to it, and through Amazon building a little, desk and area. Like yours is really comfortable. It's kind of similar to this feng shui in a sense.
Right.
But just did that, built it slowly.
Yeah.
Did online things, and then what I noticed is instead of just doing the podcast, I was going on Facebook and I was recording videos of myself, reaching out to my friends and audience, and having a personal level with them instead of just having them watching me. I'm reaching out. And then those are the videos that got most responses.
No kidding.
I was just being like, listen, I want to do this. I'm just having fun, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I was doing them in between podcasts.
Right.
Then I took a hiatus for about a year. And the reason why is I just stopped having fun with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that wasn't an ego boost again, but I was watching it and then I would see the views. Okay. And then I'd go out and I'd have hundreds of people throughout the year say, I saw your podcast. I saw it. I really like it. Yeah. Well, some of you were fucking lying because I know how many views there were. So two things were happening. Either you didn't like it and you're too scared, you're too much of a bitch to tell me you don't like it.
Yeah.
Or you didn't watch it or you did.
Yeah,
so three things. Cool thing, I've never had any negative like drawbacks. No one's ever said anything bad. So that's obviously they don't want to or they don't have anything to say. And then I took a hiatus. I took a year. I just stopped doing it.
Is that when you came back with the new intro? I noticed you have a new.
Yes,
I love the intro.
And that's what
video,
I did,
man.
So
But the thing is, dude, I'm torn because I watched the old one today. I'm like, the old one's fucking cool too, man.
Yeah, the old, but
I like them both, but this one is more London focused.
Yes,
very much so. I mean, it's all London.
Yeah,
which is cool.
And a guy I know who shout out, he gave me his permission to use his content.
Right.
So it was you've seen. I don't know if you go time lapse. It's a time lapse of London, Ontario. And there's a lot of videos.
Yeah.
And I just took. Yeah,
I
you
know
see
exactly
that
what you're
video,
talking
right?
about.
On Vimeo? You saw that on Vimeo, so I watched it. I'm like, wait a minute.
That makes so much sense.
I like this. Fuck that. I'm going to get the content. So I reached out. He gave me permission to use it.
Wow.
He gave me the files, and then I used that. And I have a producer, A1, Alan Heffernan. He's actually reached out to me.
Yeah.
And he says, hey, man, do you want to start doing this? And I'm like, you know what? Fuck yeah, let's do it again. So he did the production for me.
Right.
Sent it back.
Yep.
Ran that through, what am I using? I'm using like movie. It's nothing simple, man. And then use that, have that generic template,
right?
Add some, stupid content in there, and then just cut the podcast,
right?
And what I was afraid of doing is I didn't want to go very long because I was noticing that my views were going down. Because nowadays, if it isn't clickbait or isn't cut, it's hard to get people to watch, right?
For sure. And that's the thing with us is that we want to give you, the guest, enough time to tell your story,
right?
And it's all about like for me. Like being sober, dude. That's how this kind of whole thing started. And I'll get into the bid chat thing as well. But I wanted to have all the friends on here that I haven't been out partying with and be like, look, just tell me about what your life's been like the last little while, right? But then sort of from that standpoint, I started noticing more people doing interesting things. And I thought, you know what, let's have some interesting guests on that are trying to do the same things, that kind of see the vision.
Same mindset.
Yourself. Yeah.
Same mindset. Same ultimate goal.
Yeah.
It may not be any monetary gain, but it's just being out there and having something to show your fucking kids.
Yeah.
If my podcast doesn't go anywhere, I'll be able to show my kids what Dad was doing 30 years ago.
Sure.
Fuck it.
Yeah, that's cool. This is what it is, a hobby. Yeah. No, I like that too. That's really cool. So, I mean, what do you see happening in the future now that you have this sort of producer behind you and you're getting back into it? What is your goal?
I want to bring up content a little more. I want to start bringing more people on, but I don't want to force anybody, and I want to have something that's some sort of decent dialogue. And I have a lot of people reach out to me, and no offense to anybody, but if I don't really have anything to necessarily talk about, I don't want to have you on and just have dead air.
Yeah,
because that's kind of silly in a sense, and it's not necessarily entertaining. But if neither of us are gaining from it, we can talk at Tim Hortons. Why the fuck would we record it? Right?
Fair enough. Yeah.
And if I don't want to talk to you at Tim Hortons, why the fuck are you in my house?
Then it's awkward.
Then it's just like you're kind of battling, right? So
that's a good point.
So I just want to make sure there's content, and I really want to have people that have something important to say. So what I've done recently, and this has been the conversation with Jamie Champion, is I'm going to use my outlet for the fighters. I'm going to interview the fighters for 10 minutes and have them on before their fights. So they have something to say.
Good for
and
you.
it's going to be a platform for the fighters.
Right.
And it's going to be I might even change it up, do a little separate podcast. I haven't decided that yet. But then I'm going to be interviewing the fighters at the fight.
Very cool.
So I have that relationship. So when I do the color commentary, I know who the fuck I'm talking about.
Sure.
Because he's been in my house.
Yeah.
I know exactly where he comes from. I'm going to be able to explain where the background is.
Very cool.
So it's educating myself while reaching out in the community at the same time.
Very cool, buddy. Perfect. I like that. I like that a lot. I mean, we've had a few MMA guys on here, and I got a lot of friends in that sort of, I guess you call it an industry, right? But
it is now.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a good way to put it now, yeah.
And so I'm all for it, man. I don't follow it as much as I used to once upon a time. It's
hard.
But it's hard to keep up with because there's so many now.
Oversaturated.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening. But
it
is what it is.
it's still getting. I mean, it's a moneymaker, right?
Yeah. So
By
you
far.
really like this is really. I don't know. People can see if we're doing all audio or is it video and audio?
Video and audio. We got video right
I
here.
see that
we got
right
audio
there.
here.
It's a nice. This is a good setup.
Thanks,
It's
buddy.
perfect. It's really comfortable for the guest per se.
I'm glad that you're comfortable.
It's
That's
good.
key.
It's really important for the person, and that, they don't realize that too.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
and I saw some of your podcasts earlier, and you guys were doing the couch thing.
yeah.
It's fucking hard. It's impossible.
It's hard.
It's
eh?
impossible.
Yeah.
And I was going to say that because you're like what?
Right.
Who do I talk to? And this is the perfect way to set it up.
Sure,
It's really nice.
absolutely.
It's comfortable.
We kind of have the different scenarios for depending on what the podcast content is,
Okay,
right?
yep.
So for that one, it's a little more difficult to do, but we want everybody to be in the frame, kind of looking at the people we're talking to, because that one's more about anxiety and depression and attacking it. So it's all about. The Sundays are all about mental health for now, and we'll get into how that happened, because at one point in time, it was only supposed to be. So about a year ago. This is what's running here. This is a program called Bid Chat.
I'm really interested in this. Too.
Yeah, so I'll tell you about Bid Chat. Bid Chat, you have to try out to get a show on Bid Chat. So there's producers. You have to do a Skype call. And it's basically an app that generates revenue to put towards charity, but it's celebrity-backed. So if you go on their Instagram account, you'll see the people they've had on. Adam Carolla, obviously. I told you about him earlier. People from the show Teen Wolf, MTV Teen Wolf, Bachelors, Bachelorettes. You name it, they've had people on there. Seth Green, people, anybody that really wanted to go on that had the time for a cause to raise a bunch of money. So originally, my whole concept was to do a new Sunday night sex show similar to what Sue Johansson had.
Yes.
But like with as
Sue.
sex coaching, but I had to make it a little more entertaining and edgy, because I'm not an older lady that can fucking give head to a banana.
which is bananas. By the way.
Yeah, right?
I always wondered about Sue.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's how this whole thing started. And then basically, because I wanted to kind of tie the two together with the thing that happened with my roommate, the funny thing is I kind of gave people the option to go towards talking about sex or talking about mental health. And so many people were going towards mental health over talking about sex. I thought everybody would be like telling me about their sex life, whatever.
Yeah.
But they're opening up about suicide attempts
That's
or
interesting.
anxiety.
That's very interesting.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's very interesting.
And so they had the option, and even though suicide tends to be the darker of the two words, you'd think, right?
It's more therapeutic.
Yeah. So people they're gearing towards that, and so I figured, you know what, we're gonna put the sex show on hold. We're gonna do Sundays are gonna be Soulfire Sundays. Get some people on here that have experienced anxiety, depression, and suicide attempts.
I think I've
Yeah, and we'll move
Top
forward.
all of them.
Yeah, exactly. We'll move forward for 15 weeks, and we'll all do a program together with a bunch of guys talking. So yeah, you're right. It probably doesn't work from like talking and not knowing who to talk to, but as long as the information's getting out there, that's all I really give a fuck
That's cool.
about. Yeah.
No, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
that's very important. Yeah.
So that's our Sundays.
That's
the
cool.
Monday, the Motivation Monday, it's basically men's. I mean, I didn't want to segregate it because we're trying to be gender equal here, but Men's Monday, Women's Wednesday is basically what we're doing. I call it Mental Health and Motivational Monday. You'll always see a man on Monday.
Cool.
Women Crush Wednesday. You'll always see a woman on Wednesday. So the idea is basically to get people on to share their story. It's like we're trying to do to you. So,
Yeah.
I mean, earlier we kind of discussed some things that you were going through, and we get into it. So
Yeah.
do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, there's nothing really in particular to talk about. It's
Okay.
just, you talk about mental health, and it's funny because everyone views, and for yourself, man, like you just went through a lot.
Yeah.
But you were on a TV show, and people
Yeah.
didn't know what's underneath the water.
Not at
You see
all.
a duck floating, but the legs are kicking, right?
Absolutely.
And it's funny because I always...
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always portray myself. The Replacements with Gene Hackman, great movie. So I'm always portraying myself as someone that's happy, and you know what? I honestly, truly am happy. I'm a happy person.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be alive. And I'll get back into my story.
Yeah.
You went through something like that, and I was in a car accident when I was in grade 12.
Really?
And a friend of mine, we hit a pole at 145 kilometers an hour.
Fuck.
So, and I haven't spoken to this friend in a long time.
Really?
He recently added me to Facebook, and I'm on the fence if I want to add him or not. And I
Yeah.
kind of might reach out and talk to him because we had a kind of a falling out per se.
Why do you think the falling? Like, was it because of the accident? That the
No,
falling-
it was after. It was 10 years after the accident. And we lived
Really?
with each other, and it was just it was very a toxic place to be in his house, and he wasn't where he needed to be mentally, and
Right.
and I don't think I was mentally.
Yeah.
And but besides that, we were in grade 12, and we hit a hydro pole at 145.
Yeah, that's
When you're
wild.
16.
No kidding.
You ever had the wind knocked out of you? Times it
Holy
by 30,
shit.
and you fucking So I'll actually break down the story. It's a pretty interesting story.
Yeah, let's hear that
Yeah.
story.
So we're in grade 12. And just trying to discover yourself. I had not lost my virginity yet, boys.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's go there.
You're a late bloomer. That's all right.
I was right after though. So gave me a little bit of fame. So shout out to Ashley Hunking. Thank you. No, actually we're friends still. We dated in high school.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's an awesome chick. She's getting married. Congratulations.
And good kill.
Yeah. The first kill. So we were driving back from high school, and Matt, my friend, he had bought a brand new Hyundai Tiburon. And we were driving back from school, and I don't honestly remember all the details, and it's hard because it was quite a big impact right afterwards. But we were passing someone to catch up to a friend, and we went a little too fast. We drifted and hit a pole.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw the pole coming, and it's one of those things that people say you see everything slows down, and your life flashes. I'm not a religious person by any fucking means. Okay?
Right. Yep.
However, that happens.
It's happened to me.
That happens, and it's very interesting.
So explain that experience a little more.
Everything slows down, and you know it's happening, but time literally slows down. You know it's coming. You have time to think of 20 things, like consciously, before it happens. Where it's not flashing. You know what you're thinking.
I have a theory about
really.
It's fucking. I like to hear that. Too.
Yeah. What's your theory? And then I want to know what you thought about.
Yeah. Well, for me, my encounter with that was I was in like a home invasion robbery type of thing.
That's fucking traumatic.
Woke up at 4 a.m. I'm in my boxers, some dude with a knife in my room. Right? Yeah. So I had that, and it's like you said, it's almost like time slows down, and then you get a bunch of things in a minute. It's almost like you see your whole life at once. I kind of think it's a survival instinct. It's your body's way of just taking all the useful information that it might have had over your lifespan, and just boom at once, and like hope that you do something.
It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah. So what were you thinking about? Tell me some of the thoughts that were going through.
I don't remember. It was just I was thinking my life things, and then all of a sudden I saw the pole and I knew I was going to die.
No shit.
I've never in my life known for a fact that your life is ended.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like someone pulls a gun and the bullet doesn't come out, but the sound goes.
Right.
So we hit the pole. I was out cold for maybe 3 or 4 seconds, a jolt. Opened my eyes and I saw dust. Or smoke. So I thought fucking car's on fire.
Right. Get out.
But I got out on my hands and knees, and I thought I was going to puke up my intestines.
Really?
Yeah, I thought I was going to go, and then there was going to be something from inside come outside.
Right.
And it wasn't going to be fun.
Right.
So I finally caught some air. Go ahead.
Yeah, did you have any injuries?
No, not physically.
Wow.
So that's what we're going to get into.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I got up, and my first instinct was go check out my friend.
Right.
Okay, and I went to go reach on him, and I shook him, and he, from what little gruesome, but enough to say for work. Right. However, his his left femur between his knee and his hip was snapped sideways to the left. Jeez. And he fractured skull in his head. Yeah. And he was bleeding out of his mouth and his nose, and he was gurgling.
Jesus.
For instance, very, really graphic.
Yeah.
And at that time, I didn't really know what was taking place, so I shook him. Right. Okay, and he was. I'm like, fuck. So I get back out of the car, and then some man who worked at Hydro One, because this is right on Palm Mills.
Yeah. Okay.
So there, the Hydro.
Okay.
So comes out. He goes, "Do you need help?" I'm like, "Just help my friend. Help my friend. I fucking can walk. I can talk. Go help him."
What's the speed limit?
60.
Okay. All right. So you guys do a little racing.
A wee bit fast. Yeah. We're just kids, though. We're just kids.
Fair enough, man. I've been there. Yeah.
And then I distinctly remember them trying to pull him out. Blah 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 blah. Little things happened. People were stopping. It was the end of the day, so people were driving by.
Right.
All the kids that we went to high school with,
really,
were stopping.
Oh my!
Buses were driving by. They saw the car.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I get in the back of an ambulance. A couple of my buddies go like, "What the fuck just happened?" kind of thing. And I'm like, I don't fuck you. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's my answer. So can you cross your eyes? Can you guys cross your eyes?
Yeah.
That's what I could see.
Really?
Yeah, because I was concussed, right?
Yeah.
So I'm getting wheeled. They're lying me down the ambulance, and they're driving me to the hospital, and I see his car go flying past. I'm like, okay, well, something's up. I don't know what kind of shape he was in.
Yeah.
And as I'm getting wheeled down the gurney, I see them wheeling him past, and they're fucking cutting his clothes off.
Really?
And I'm like, and I'm just kind of like, shit's going down. So I sit in the hospital bed, and I thought 10 minutes went by. 3 hours.
Really?
In the hospital bed. I had no idea. I had no concept of time.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm sitting there and I'm asking the nurse. I said, "What the fuck's going on with my friend?" She's like, "Well, don't worry about my friend." I go, "I don't fucking tell me not to worry about it,
because I know what that
I know I'm going to live.
Yeah.
What else am I going to worry about?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, "He doesn't look good."
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I'm like, "Well, I fucking know that. I saw his head."
Yeah.
So wheeled him in. Kind of. It was one of our. I went to RMC, and it was one of our high school car accidents. Really.
Right.
So
Right.
it was a pretty traumatic experience, and not knowing when your friend's going to live.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things that like now when I drive, if I'm with someone I don't really know that well, I get anxiety.
No shit.
Massive anxiety. If
Really?
I'm not in control, I will take control.
Yeah,
Really?
I can see that.
And you freak out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's one of those things that I'll never, even to this day,
Sticks
to
with
this
you.
day, man.
Yeah.
And I'm not the type of person I don't fear death.
Yeah.
I really don't. Like
But that experience sticks with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. In your subconscious somewhere.